Hello, my name's Ben.
And my name's Josh.
Welcome back to FPL graduates and welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're going to be going through a potential free hit team for game week 4. Of course, there is some really good fixtures going into this game week. So we're going to have a look and see which players we would potentially recommend you having if you were to be hitting this chip this week.
Yeah, indeed. It's going to be a very interesting week to free hit. Obviously, anyone who doesn't own too many Liverpool players could look to free hit this week with the Burnley away fixture being the ultimate pull. Getting off into the team, then we've got David Raya in goal. 5.5 million, the cheapest route into a very sound Arsenal defence. Zero big chances conceded so far this season. Really good look so far, considering they've been away to Liverpool and United. So, yeah, for me, Raya in the net, he's in my wild card as well. I think long term, you can't go wrong with any Arsenal defender, to be honest. In the back three, then we've got Anderson with Leeds at home, mainly due to Leeds' attack. Just I can't see them scoring too many goals this season. I think that's what will let them down. In terms of staying up personally. And obviously, Anderson is very, very good for DEFCONs as well, which I still think he could get just due to the sheer amount of crosses that Leeds put in. They've got a double up as well in Palace defence with Lacroix and Munoz. Both got Sunderland at home. I don't think it's going to be as a walk in the park as most might think, obviously, with a really nice home fixture. But I think clean sheet wise, there is potential there. And if not, Lacroix has decent attacking threat. Munoz has decent attacking threat. And Lacroix and Munoz have decent chances of DEFCONs as well. So, yeah, obviously multiple routes to points with those two guys. What's the thoughts on the defence and keeper then?
Yeah, so in terms of the defence, I think obviously Lacroix, Munoz, you're targeting the promoted sides, which I think is going to be sort of key here within the free hit, trying to sort of target those promoted teams because, of course, 2 out of the 3 of the away of the promoted teams are playing away. So that is sort of where we're looking at with the strategy for the defence. Okay, so moving on into the midfield. And as you can see, it's a triple up of Liverpool in that midfield. And we think these are going to be potentially the 3 best options to go for. Of course, you could swap out one for Ekatike up front because we're fairly certain that Isak isn't going to start in this game. We're fairly sure that we know what that Liverpool front line is going to look like. And Gakpo has been performing sort of probably at the best in terms of the attacking output from these Liverpool players so far, which is why we've selected him. Salah as the captain of this team, of course. Burnley away is the primed fixture for Liverpool, and Salah's got to be in there as well. And then Florian Wirtz, despite sort of the underwhelming numbers to start the season, he has looked good over the international break, got a goal, got created 3 big chances in a game, and obviously sort of come away, looking quite good. That free kick goal was especially very decent. So hopefully he can start to kickstart the season. We've seen glimpses of him so far, and we do back him to do fairly well in this fixture. To round off the midfield, we're gone for a couple sort of on the cheaper side options. Semenyo with Brighton at home. I just think based on Semenyo's form so far this season, it'd be difficult not to include him in this. The ownership levels are at around 30%, so it'd be a big risk to go without him. And then Esteval rounds up that team. Of course, Brentford have, been a little bit inconsistent to start the season, maybe playing a little bit better than we did expect. But we expect Esteval to start for Chelsea, and Chelsea have looked fairly decent going forwards. Of course, in large parts of that game against Fulham, didn't look great, but still came away with a couple of goals and a win as well. So, Josh, what's your thoughts on the midfield?
Yeah, I think it's solid overall. The Liverpool guys, we spoke about it on the Game Week Guide video. Just in general, Liverpool's fixtures for the opening 3 are very, very tough. So we wouldn't take too much from those games, especially from a Florian Wirtz point of view. Like, he was so good in the Community Shield, and Crystal Palace is probably more on the better even playing field to judge that by. I think Bournemouth maybe as well, but yeah, I expect him to get in and amongst the returns here against Burnley away. It's more his sort of fixture where he can sort of dictate the play and be on the ball a lot more than probably what he has been in previous games. Obviously, Salah and Gakpo are there to hopefully finish off anything that Wirtz is creating. I think Esteval is just a nice differential. I think you could obviously go for whoever you fancied in that spot, but at 2.5% owned, I think it's a nice risk to take on a Chelsea attack that's been pretty good so far this season. On to the front line then. We've got Victor Gyökeres up first. Obviously, we think he should be on penalties. Obviously, took the one against Leeds at home. Forest at home this week. Obviously, under Ange, it's going to be an interesting game to watch for sure. Seeing how Forest set up and whether they sort of adapt to his principles straight away or maybe revert back to those Nuno ways. Either or, I think Gyökeres will be sort of in and amongst it and hopefully getting a couple of goals this week. João Pedro's next, obviously super highly owned. There's no reason not to go with him with Liam Delap being out injured now. The minutes are fairly secure with him. Obviously, no penalties is a bit frustrating with Enzo taking it, but albeit, still a very good FPL asset. You could have Jean-Philippe Mateta as well. Obviously, Esteval's probably the guy you'd switch and upgrade Krupi from. He's obviously probably the only omission that I would probably suggest. If you wanted to go with him, then by all means go for it. What's your thoughts on the front line, Ben, and maybe the addition of Mateta?
Yeah, I think Mateta would be the addition to make if you're playing it a little more safe. I think Esteval is that risk pick that we've gone for in there, and it's probably the only real risk pick that we've gone for, other than like maybe the double up in the Palace defence. But yeah, in terms of like the strike force, I think it is very sensible to have one or two Arsenal players because other than the Liverpool game, this Arsenal game is expected to be the most one-sided according to the bookies data anyway. So it is well worth having a couple of those. And Gyökeres, of course, going to be on penalties, and that is in itself quite appealing, especially from a team that's going to be attacking so much in a game, or potentially attacking so much anyway. Let's see what Ange produces. And then, yeah, João Pedro's got to be essential, really, in that team. You sort of otherwise you're going against the ownership and going against the grain massively, which could backfire. So, yeah, the only change really, like Josh said, Esteval out, Krupi upgraded, Mateta in. But that's just really down to personal preference there.
Okay, then, so that wraps up the Gameweek 4 free hit. Nice, quick and simple one. Let us know if you've got any changes and if you're playing your free hit this week. It's definitely a very popular week to play it, so I'm sure there'll be quite a few drafts in the comments.
Yeah, definitely a viable week. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe to the FPL Graduates. I've been Ben.
I've been Josh.
And we'll see you guys
next time. Have a good game week, everyone.